On the outskirts of a small town surrounded by endless wheat fields lies an old abandoned train station. The walls are covered in graffiti, and the roof, riddled with holes, lets rain and wind seep through, creating eerie sounds on stormy nights. Despite its decay, the station has an unsettling allure for the curious and thrill-seekers who've heard the tale of the phantom train. Legend has it that on every new moon, a ghost train stops at the station. It has no conductor or visible passengers, yet those brave enough to approach claim to hear the rumble of wheels, the screeching of brakes, and the mournful wail of its whistle. Most chilling of all, a metallic voice announces destinations no one can find on any map. Gabriel, a young enthusiast of the paranormal, decided to uncover the truth. Armed with a flashlight, his camera, and a couple of spare batteries, he arrived at the station just before midnight. The air was unusually cold for a summer night, and the silence was absolute, broken only by the creaking of rotten wood under his feet. As he walked along the deserted platforms, Gabriel felt as though something was watching him, but he was alone. Checking his watch, he realized it was almost midnight. He turned on his camera, pointing it at the rusted tracks, when a faint murmuring made him spin around. There, in the distance, a dim light began to glow. Impossible, he thought. The tracks led nowhere. The light grew brighter, and the sound of an approaching train shattered the stillness. Gabriel stood frozen as a massive black locomotive emerged from the darkness, coming to a halt in front of him. It had no engineer or passengers, but its windows reflected blurred images, as if something moved inside. Suddenly, the doors creaked. The monotone mechanical voice echoed through the station. Final destination, the place from which you will never return. A shiver ran down Gabriel's spine, but something stronger than fear compelled him to step inside. The interior was dense and oppressive. The seats were occupied by motionless humanoid figures without facial features. Each one clutched an object that seemed to represent a fragment of their life. A broken watch, a faded photograph, a burnt book. Gabriel moved cautiously, filming everything. When one of the figures turned its head toward him, eyes as black as coal stared directly into his, as the mechanical voice repeated, "Next stop, oblivion." Before he could react, the train jolted forward, throwing him to the floor. Gabriel tried to get up, but an invisible force pressed him into an empty seat. The lights flickered and the air filled with a collective scream that seemed to come from every figure on board. Hours later, a freight train discovered Gabriel's camera on the tracks nearby, still recording. The footage showed the train's interior, but the young man was nowhere to be seen. The last sound on the recording was the echo of the mechanical voice. "Next stop, welcome to oblivion." Since that night, no one dares approach the station, but locals swear that on new moon nights, you can still hear the echo of a train that should never have existed.